mysteries. I agreed so fast that the words echoed off the wall, and then sat on the tram going down Brunswick Street, wondering what I had got myself into. I had never written a mystery before. I had been reading them since I learned to read, but I had never written one and didn't have the faintest idea how to begin. So I began with a character. If I had the protagonist, I reasoned, she could tell me what to do next. I had decided to place these mysteries in the 1920s, in 1928, in fact, because I had written a legal history essay on the 1928 wharf strike, my father being a wharf labourer, and had done extensive work on 1928 from newspapers and interviews. I knew what she looked like. My sister Janet has a perfect 1920s face and figure, small, thin, elegant, with black hair and pale skin and green eyes. At that time, Janet had a bobby cut too. She looked just like a flapper. Then I needed a name. I had been looking at 1900 birth notices for some reason, and a lot of them were ancient Greek names: Psyche, Irene, Iris. These ladies, the naive Psyche, Irene the goddess of peace, and Iris the nymph of the rainbow, were far too respectable to be the sort of person I wanted my heroine to be. But then I remembered Phryne, a courtesan in ancient Greece, so beautiful that the painter Apelles used her for his Aphrodite, and so rich and notorious that she offered to rebuild the walls of Thebes as long as she could put a sign on them reading, "The walls of Thebes, ruined by time, rebuilt by Phryne the courtesan, my kind of woman." Her last name is derived elaborately as a scholastic joke. She is a fisher of men, as all detectives are. Her name also reflects the Grail cycle, le roi pêcheur, the sinner or fisher king. I've always liked that absurd pun on sin and fish. And there was a street in Paris called Rue de Chat qui Pêche, which was a good place to find a gigolo. All of the information had come to me piecemeal from various sources. It was coagulating in my head as I sat on the tram, and when I got off the tram in Melbourne, I had the name of my heroine, Phryne Fisher. I knew what she looked like, and I was working on where she came from. I gave her a poor background to make her appreciate being rich, and a title so that she could not be overawed by society. Because I wanted her to be a female wish-fulfillment figure, I wanted her to be like James Bond, with better clothes and fewer gadgets. There was no female hero in the same vein as Leslie Charteris's Simon Templar, the Saint. In fact, as the Saint books were published in the same period of the 1920s, I wanted to make her Simon Templar's younger, more level-headed sister. All I really did was take a male hero of the time and allow her to be female. No one thinks it odd that James Bond has blondes and no regrets. I only ever thought I would have 2 books published, so I tried to pack everything I wanted to say about female heroes into them. The modern women detectives are afflicted with self-doubt, neglect their diets, worry about exercise, think they may be growing fat as if fat was a disfigurement, and are generally burdened with low self-esteem and guilt. I wanted a character without guilt, with boundless self-esteem, as a role model, perhaps. She was no challenge to invent. All I really felt that I actually invented was the name and the background. She blossomed from the moment I wrote the first line of Cocaine Blues. And after the first 5 chapters, I had no further control over her. I feel like I discovered Phryne rather than invented her. She's a bold creature for the 1920s, but not an impossible one. None of the things she does are out of the question for that brittle, revolutionary period. And yes, Kerry Greenwood can fly a small plane, though I've only flown once in a tiger moth, and Kerry Greenwood can fire, or rather has fired, for the purposes of research.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.